In this example, we are trying to fill in the missing terms that fit the pattern. So 10 to 13, that's weird, isn't it? 10, it goes down to 2, up to 13, down to 8, up to 16, down to 2, up to 5, blank, 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 hits 25, blank, blank, blank. What in the world is the pattern? So this is tricky. This is like a scientist. This is what scientists do. You're going to be training future engineers and scientists, STEM people, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You'll be training those future people. And so what they do is they look, what does a scientist do? He or she looks at what happens in nature, and they look for the pattern. What's the rule? What's the law of physics that's causing things to happen out in nature, things to move, motion and weight and force and sound. And then also, what does a doctor do? Looks at the things in the human body and looks for the pattern of how blood vessels and arteries and all that stuff works together, metabolism works together. They look for the rule or the pattern. So this is beautiful training for future STEM people, which you will have sitting in your classrooms. And so practice looking for a pattern. How do you see a bunch of things, like somebody looking at a bunch of things in the human body or in nature and says, what's the pattern here? What's the rule here? Okay, well, let's try a couple things. Maybe it's divide by 5. And then add 11. Then try that again. Divide by 5? Nope. Not dividing by 5. It didn't work. How about subtracting? How about if we go, well, maybe it's subtract 8, add 11. Subtract 8? No. Doesn't work. What is it? Well, let me give you a big hint here. Try looking at every other number. Should be that spot, and that spot, and that spot. See how I circled every other number? Just look at those for a moment. Do you see a pattern just in those? How does 10 become 13? How does 13 become 16? 16 become 19? What's happening in every other number? That's easy, right? It's adding 3. So this would be what, 22? 19 add 3? And this would be 25. Perfect. Look at that. Add 3, 28. Okay, that fits those numbers. Now what about the other ones? Well, let's look at just those now. How does 2 become 8? And 8 become 14. And boom, and boom, and boom, and boom. Well, you can see it, right? Add 6. Add 6. Add 6, this would be 20. Add 6, this would be 26. Add 6, this would be 32. Add 6, this would be 38. There we go. See how that worked perfectly? It's 2 patterns interspliced. One of them's adding 3 every time. The other's adding 6 every time. So sometimes a scientist needs, like Einstein was famous for saying, for a scientist, sometimes imagination is more important than knowledge. You got to try stuff, like try every other. That's what you want to train future STEM people, to be creative, to try things, to guess at things, to just give stuff a try. That's what a lot of famous discoveries have come from. Just people trying stuff, and Einstein captured it when he said, for a scientist, imagination is more important than knowledge. And he meant specifically, he imagined the relativity principle, that everything travels relative to the speed of light the same, which is a wild, crazy principle, which turns out to be true. Anyway, enough with the physics.